Hello everyone, I'm Raíssa and I'm bringing you now a new podcast of the blog Softball Não. This Saturday afternoon here in Natal, the temperature is 29 degrees Celsius and it really feels like 29 degrees Celsius, so it's hot. And today we're going to talk about this dilemma between transparency and privacy. Of course, I'm referring to candidates. Now in the USA, we have a great discussion about the candidates' health because Hillary Clinton had some problems and she almost fainted in an event, and then some people were asking or questioning about her health, and then she said that she had pneumonia and that she had to go through some treatment, but she was all right after 2 days. And then we heard about Trump's health too, but other people say that the candidate was not really open about his health record. So I believe the real question here is where transparency should overcome privacy. Because as American citizens, as Brazilian citizens, we all have the right of privacy. So health is a big part of this relationship that you have about yourself, you know. It's something really intimate, something that defines you. And sometimes you have a health problem that you don't think this should be a public concern. And I also understand that we are talking here about candidates who want to be the president of a country. But, for example, in this case, a pneumonia, we don't really know if this really was a pneumonia or not, because we know politicians have all this ability to lie and to disguise things and to pretend that they're doing something when they're really doing something all the way around, all the opposite of that. So we really don't know for sure what is happening about the candidate's health. So, but in this case, let's suppose that pneumonia is really the situation that was that Hillary Clinton was experiencing. So how this pneumonia should be a public concern? Everybody is available. It's possible that everybody can get this kind of bacteria or virus, because pneumonia can be caused by all of this. So it's not really something, I think, it's not really a big thing that we should be concerned, because the problem of pneumonia is that you will have some antibiotics to have, and they have a kind of religious schedule. You have to follow that. Sometimes you need to go to the hospital, but for a person to die of pneumonia, it's gonna be a big way, you know. This person has to be really weak, has to have no access to treatment, and I don't think that the president of the United States or the president of Brazil won't have this kind of access. And I'm talking about normal access, the normal kind of treatment. Of course, when you are the president, I'm sure you have access to the best kind of treatment that is possible that these people have. So I don't think this is a big problem. But I think that, for example, a question that no one talks about is about mental health. Because if we have a candidate that suffers, for example, a mental disease like these ones that makes you have delusions, that you have a kind of paranoid, so you can have a whole country, or even if you're talking about the USA, even the whole world in a very dangerous situation, because if this person decides to go in a way that the mind is telling this person to go, and it's not the reality. So we can have even a war in the world because of that. But nobody talks about this because it's really difficult to define that a person is mentally disturbed or not. And it's something really intimate because a doctor can't reveal that if the patient doesn't tell the doctor to reveal that. So it's a very difficult situation. I remember a situation that is similar to this. In Brazil, I was very little. I was a kid. I believe I was 5 years old or almost 5 years old when we have a president here that was the first president that was not a military guy. And you know that Brazil experienced this very long dictatorship here from 1969 to 1984, 85, I think, when this guy was elected. I'm talking about Tancredo Neves. And that was a very delicate moment to Brazil because people were really convinced that if Tancredo Neves didn't become president because of his health, then the military guys that were about to leave the government, the dictatorship in Brazil was about to end, then people were afraid that they would return. So we have a picture that became very famous here because Tancredo had a surgery. I believe he had some kind of pneumonia back then. That's why I remember this story when I saw this discussion over Hillary Clinton's health. And there is a picture that the doctors are holding Tancredo Neves in a sitting position, and he's pretending a smile because he was in a very heavy, hard, difficult, big pain. And they showed that picture to all the world to say, trying to say that Tancredo was all right, there was no problem, it was just some kind of treatment that he was having in the hospital. But in a few days he would be better and he would govern Brazil as the president. But if I'm not wrong, in a week Tancredo Neves died. And it was a big commotion here in Brazil because everybody was afraid that the military would get back to the government. But the vice president got to the government, and we had the first president that was not a military guy. It was José Sarney. He was not a very good president, but at least it wasn't a dictatorship anymore. And after that, Brazil got the first elections. So I remember this because back then we had a very delicate moment in Brazil. So I believe that moment health was a problem because people were afraid that without the president we would go back into this very long dictatorship that we had in Brazil. But if we talk about a democracy as we have in the USA and as we have now in Brazil, I don't see that a candidate's health is a problem. Maybe people should take a better look at the vice president candidates. Because, of course, if we have a problem with the president, these people, they will become the president of the country. So I'm not sure if people take this special look at the vice presidents. I'm sure about that in Brazil because we had this experience now. We had a president that was removed from the job, that Dilma. And all we see all around Brazil is that Dilma's supporters are accusing her vice president. The guy was there with her during the campaign, so he asked for votes to her, and she asked for votes saying that he was a big friend, someone to trust, and etc. and etc. So after that, what we experience now in Brazil is a lot of Dilma supporters saying that he was a traitor and that he is not the person to be the president. Wow, Dilma chose him as the vice president. It was not Brazilian people who decided that. So maybe it is time that voters take a special look at vice president, vice governors, vice mayor candidates that we have in elections, because, for example, in Brazil, it's very common that the vice president becomes president. As I told you, this case of José Sarney, we had other cases in the past. For example, João Goulart, he was the vice president and he became president. Café Filho was the vice president and became president. Even now, in 1992, we had Fernando Collor that was the president, and Itamar Franco was his vice president, and Itamar became the president when Collor was removed from his job. And now we experience this, that Dilma is not the president anymore, and her vice president became the president. So maybe it is time that American people should take a special look at the vice president, because it's really hard to talk about someone's health if you don't have access to the exams, if you don't have access to the medical records. And it's something that, in my opinion, belongs to an individual's privacy. It's not something to be discussed. But as I can see from some polls that were around the internet about the American people, they think that the president's or the candidate's health is something that they are really concerned about. In Brazil, we really don't care about this. I can tell you that because, for example, Dilma, she was elected and re-elected after battling a cancer. So I believe that's the idea. It's not the health that is going to be the problem to a candidate, because, anyone can die and we don't know the day. You can die now, I can die now, something can happen and we die. So I believe better than discussing candidates' health is to take a special look at the vice president and to see if this person is trustworthy, if this person has good ideas, has a good job, because maybe that person this person might become the president in an event that we wouldn't like to see. But that's the idea. So that's my opinion. I know that it's just an opinion, but if we all think about that, now if you stop and think, how healthy am I? It's really difficult, because nowadays people don't have healthy food, they don't exercise, so most of the people have problems with cholesterol, they have problems with blood pressure, they have diabetes, or they have a record of heart disease in the family or cancer. These things, they are really common nowadays. So I don't really think that because you have a record of diseases, you're not able to perform something, you're not able to do your job, even if this job that we are talking about is the presidency of a country. So that's the idea. I think we should talk about, for example, mental disease. That's important, but the rest is not important. The important thing is that you pay attention to your candidate, you pay attention to what he or she is proposing to the country, about what are the propositions, and you pay a very special attention to the vice president candidate, because that person has a great probability to become the president if we have something strange happening. So that's it. That's my opinion. Hope that you enjoyed that. Hope that you have a very good Saturday night that is coming, so you have fun. But tomorrow at 10, I'll be back here so we can talk about soccer em Natal. Okay, that's it. See you there.